Yes, welcome back to another short edition of the No Stay Project. This time we're doing success stories again. I love to do these. Just knowing that there are critics that lie about the work, and I don't want anyone to be misled. We do have an awful lot of success stories, and I like to include the train wrecks in the success story just to shut the door on any complaints that I'm a con man and that I only discuss when things go well. And even though, okay, so I don't have a train wreck to discuss this time, but no big deal. But I do have two tickets that were tossed out, and so one thing for sure that I need to put up, because they're traffic, just to preempt some of the stupid criticism that you're going to hear, we've got this. This always comes in handy because instead of discussing the actual merits of the work, you just try to blow it off and say it's not significant. But for those who are new to the material, you know that the issue of jurisdiction that we are hitting, the claim of jurisdiction that the police are making, is very easy to show that it has no merit. And it's going to be based on the exact same thing as a more serious charge. So if it's a tax charge or it's possession, some other code violation, it all hinges on the same thing. And I did a video about this in an article where I talk about jurisdiction we'll get to that. I could talk about jurisdiction quite a bit. And, it's debunking territorial/personal jurisdiction, why it doesn't exist. That all comes down to the same thing. If you are physically in New York or Delaware, for example, then the Constitution applies, creates obligations, and gives them jurisdiction, because part of subject matter jurisdiction has to do with you violating a known legal duty, that the Constitution and laws created an obligation and you breached that. So that goes to whether there's a valid cause of action or not, because it's an adversary system. But I go through all that here. And in many other places on markstevens.net. It's a very common part of the show that we discuss, because it goes to the very foundation of these charges. So keep that in mind when if somebody complains and tries to diminish the significance of this, and also keep in mind a big part of the significance is not just because it's a traffic ticket getting tossed out, a code violation. It's because people are being are empowered to instead of just giving up and paying, that they're being empowered to, by my example and other people's examples, to defend themselves, or don't go mortgage your house and get a lawyer, that you can do this yourself. And I've got many examples on the website here regarding being able to get traffic tickets and even possession charges kicked out without hiring some lawyer. So the jurisdiction issue is covered in depth here. It really comes down to the Constitution and the allegation. So again, it's the claim that the Constitution applies because you're physically in Delaware, and that's actually where this ticket was. So if we go down here, man, that is disturbing. Okay, here's one of the tickets. They're practically the same, and it is traffic. It's just of the Peace Court in Delaware. Arik sent this to me, so big congratulations, and a thank you to you for sending me this and allowing me to post it. There's some Judge Shelley Lucido. Gosh, I hope she's not Italian, or worse yet, if she's Sicilian. But at least she did the right thing here, so I can't fault her that way. It is dismissed, you can see. Now, I know that critics are already formulating, well, it says right here, the reason is because the police officer failed to show. And a common critique of my work is that even if you did nothing, you stand a chance of the cop not showing up. If you had no defense at all, the cops don't show up all the time. So you can't attribute it to your defense because it's something the cops do all the time. That's not the case here, as it's been in so many other cases reported to me. Now, Arik did report to me, and hopefully he calls the show. We can talk about this next week. The police officer did show up. He was at court. He saw the cop. The cop just wasn't there for his trial. So Arik was all prepared to go to trial, and the cop, even though he was there, didn't go. So now we have to decide, what does this tell us? Some of the context that you have to have here when you're making a decision on why the cop wasn't there is the cop was there and is under subpoena. If you blow off a court date in places like California, you get charged criminally. You get a failure to appear charge. So the cop, if the rules were evenly applied, is risking going and being charged by not showing up. So why is he not showing up? Well, I don't think that we can discount the defense. And the defense is very clear. We don't believe, and the record shows, that the police officer made a false claim, that there's not a shred of evidence to prove his claim that just because Arik was physically in Delaware that the constitutional laws applied, given personal and subject matter jurisdiction. And we also do a discovery request because the burden of proof is always on the necessity of proof always lies with the person who lays charges. Okay, this is basic logic, and it is a part of the American legal system. It's not something I'm making up. And anyone who says that basic principles of logic don't apply to court is they're just wrong. This is logic 101. Semper necessitas probandi incumbent equi agit. The necessity of proof always lies with the person who lays the charges. So that, together with the discovery request, not only do we want evidence to meet this particular burden, but we want to know the witness with personal knowledge of that matter. Now, I've been accused of interpreting Rule 602, and I just used the rule itself. So here, for those who may not be familiar, gosh, I read this one a lot. A witness may testify to a matter only if evidence is introduced sufficient to support a finding that the witness has personal knowledge of the matter. Now, that makes sense. The matter here is, does the police officer have personal knowledge to support his claim that just because Arik was physically in Delaware, that the Constitution applied and gave personal and subject matter jurisdiction. So I believe that instead, because he doesn't have it and couldn't possibly have it, and there's no one that could show otherwise, nobody can actually show that point otherwise. So the defense is right on the money. It is dead accurate. So the most plausible, the most probable explanation why the cop didn't show up for that particular trial and was there for the other trials is because he couldn't meet his burden and he didn't want to be bothered. He could not meet. See, that's something the critics can't take away. The cop couldn't meet his burden, so he didn't show up. So it absolutely had to do with the defense. Now, there are other plausible things that maybe the cop didn't even read the paperwork, didn't give a damn. Could be. It is possible that any defense whatsoever would have caused this guy not to show up. I don't think that's too probable because he was there for other trials. Obviously, other people had launched a defense. Other people were there probably with lawyers, and the cop did show up. So there was something different about this defense, and I believe it had to do with the fact that he couldn't make his burden. And no one has ever been able to come on the show, and no one I've ever spoken to has ever been able to meet that burden. So big congratulations to Arik. Appreciate him sending me this. If someone does disagree, you think there are other more probable, plausible explanations, call the show. Don't just go crazy on your on the YouTube comment. Call the show and present your proof. Nobody gives a damn if you think you won a YouTube argument. Dude, you're not going to believe this. I totally own the libtards on YouTube. No, nobody cares. Do what counts. Call the show and present your evidence. I'd love to hear it, especially if you think that there's evidence proving that just because Arik was physically in Delaware, that the Constitution, a written instrument, actually applied and created obligations on him. Again, my name is Mark Stevens, and